Wrong on a Monday.
Where Colin was right.
Russell Wilson's been unhappy last couple of years, finally going public. I've said this. Pete Carroll's a great coach. Let's stop the worship. Let's hold him accountable. Apparently this weekend, Russell Wilson made it clear he doesn't love Pete Carroll having his sons on the staff, which has been a trend that, frankly, I'm a little concerned with. There's a lot of good coaches out there. Prefer not kids getting the jobs, but whatever. I've said this before. Russell hasn't been happy. Now he's going public. I do think Pete, since Paul Allen died, has nobody holding him accountable. And according to Albert Breer, they may move Russell Wilson.
Where Colin was wrong.
Brooklyn Nets had an 8-game winning streak snapped, but I got to be honest. They're not only good, they're good quickly. They're number one in points. They're number one in offensive rating. They're first in field goals. It's all worked very quickly. Durant's leadership helps. Listen, Kyrie and James Harden at this point are getting along, and it's working. It feels like a tinderbox to me, but listen, you look at the East right now, no way Boston can match up offensively. They just put too much pressure on a defense, and so it's working quickly, good enough to often miss one of their stars and still win.
Where Colin was right.
Oh, Zion Williamson, where are all the critics now? 4th youngest All-Star ever. What about his defense? What about it? Young guys are never great at defense. Charles Barkley had a great career, wasn't a great defensive player. In February, he averaged 27 points and 65% field goal percentage. That feels pretty effective to me. He's been better statistically every month. I've loved this kid at Duke. I think he's got a real self-awareness. I think he's explosive. I think he's Charles Barkley, but stronger. I think he's Karl Malone, but more dynamic. And I think he has the potential for a better jump shot than Blake Griffin.
Where Colin was wrong.
The Steelers apparently have caved on Big Ben. It's pretty obvious the GM doesn't want him, but the Rooneys want to miss the playoffs again or get there and lose. He has not won a playoff game over a Pro Bowl quarterback in a long time, 13 years. Down the stretch, he was a wreck, 1-4, 12 touchdowns, 8 picks. I think he has aged poorly because he's never been physically committed. Frankly, I'm not sure he's always been mentally committed to the sport. He's just damn talented, but the Rooneys caved, and they're going to bring him back.
Where Colin was right.
Said it for years. Every golfer owes a debt of gratitude to Tiger Woods, and they all wore yesterday a fitting tribute to somebody that changed their lives. Tiger Woods had the unique ability to humiliate you on Sunday and double your paycheck on Monday. He literally entered the sport. Nobody made $1 million. 9 years later, 45 million golfers made $1 million annually. I love this. I'm a sucker for some stuff like this. And Rory McIlroy even wore red. Of course, Tiger looked a little more ripped than some of the golfers, but nonetheless, I thought it was a wonderful tribute.
Where Colin was wrong.
I think I like Teddy Bridgewater more than NFL people. I always thought he and Alex Smith are the best bridge quarterbacks in the league. They can win games. They can get you to the playoffs. Apparently, Matt Rule, the head coach in Carolina, is done after 1 year. Now, he did not play particularly well. They were 4-11. He was as a starter. He had his, 15 TDs, 11 picks. Like Alex Smith, he's not going to carry a team, but he's mature, he's smart, he learns a playbook, but they're moving off him. So the reports are either in free agency or the draft, Carolina's going to get a quarterback.
Where Colin was right.
John Lynch announced last week, finally, Jimmy Garoppolo's our quarterback. We got to hold on here. Jimmy Garoppolo won in high school. He won in college. He's won 75% of his games in the NFL. Yes, he gets hurt. It's a problem. I would draft a quarterback. I get it. I would draft a quarterback with my 12th pick if one's available. But this idea you're just going to scoot him out of town and replace him with the reckless Marcus Mariota, the reckless Sam Darnold, the guy wins. Never forget, Belichick loved him, Kyle Shanahan traded for him, and he wins 75% of his games. He's good. Let's stop arguing.
Where Colin was wrong.
I've never been a big fan of retread NBA coaches. Tom Thibodeau got hired by the Knicks. I thought, oh, brother. But they've won 7-9. This morning, they would host a playoff series. Now, Julius Randle's had a good year. He's a nice player, but Derrick Rose has played okay, but it's a roster of kids and C players. But now I will say this, Thibodeau will just play all his best players 40 minutes. They'll probably pass out in about 3 weeks. But they're playing well, and I've always said the NBA is better when the New York Knicks are good. It's fun. Madison Square Garden it's got its own vibe, it's got its own juice, it's got its own energy, and I love seeing the Knicks be relevant.
Where Colin was right?
I'm the biggest Utah Jazz fan in America that doesn't live in Utah. They are 23-3. They destroyed the Lakers last week. And Quinn Snyder, their coach, who was the best high school basketball player in the state I grew up with when I was in high school, has never really gotten kind of the respect. Maybe it's because Utah's a small market. He's got a lot of Brad Stevens. The difference is he's good at coaching stars. I mean, Donovan Mitchell's a star. This is a really good team. Their big problem is, do they have a wing defender that can give LeBron at least trouble? And I don't know if they do. But this is a really good basketball team with a star center, a great rim protector, Joe Ingles. They got 4 guys, I think, in the top 100 shooting threes. Donovan Mitchell can play both ends. I love him.
Where Colin was right?
Finally, I said when Steve Sarkisian took the Texas Longhorns job, I said, 3 weeks later, you're going to see this guy is going to get rolling fast. They are already number 4 nationally in recruiting. He just landed a 5-star quarterback out of Los Angeles, a top safety out of Texas, and in a month, he has already made substantial inroads to in-state recruiting. And that is where Tom Herman struggled. Herman won games. He had lost some of the high school coaches in Texas, and they run that program. Sark is a guy that made a mistake in his life. And on Twitter, that means your life is over. But in real life, it doesn't. People make mistakes all the time. We have to, as a society, understand there are do-overs. You get mulligans. Are you a good person? Steve Sarkisian, who I've known for a long time, good guy, made a mistake, really, really smart. And I've said it before, I don't know why this is, but it is. I've always had a soft spot. Maybe it's the uniforms. Maybe it's because I love Austin, Texas. But I've always had a soft spot for Texas Longhorns football. College football needs USC, the Miami Hurricanes, and Texas to be good. College football has... I like a little glamour with my sports. Miami Hurricanes, I miss you. USC, Texas, I miss you. Good for him. Mark Cuban's not here yet. We're going to take a break. By the way, Cardinals...